Hello friends, welcome to my channel, a channel for learning simple coding. If you find this video to be helpful, please like, share and subscribe my channel. In this video, we are going to learn the use of useEffect hook. UseEffect hook is a complementary function that we use in functional component that work as a lifecycle methods work in class components. In class component, we have component did mount, should component update. These types of functions are there, those play roles in class components. So in functional component, we have a hooks for replacement of this. So among all the hooks, in this video we are taking the use of useEffect hook. So let's understand how we can use useEffect hook in a React with TypeScript. So just I create one more component. I say useEffect basic dot tsx, and here we create a functional component rfce. We have this function component as a basic component like this. Now what we do, we just try to create a web page here. So what I do, I say here h2 user information like this. Now we create a form here, and in this form I create a label that is HTML4, and we say that name is for name like this, and here we can say enter your name like this. Now we have to use br tag here, then we should use input type text. Name of this is name, then we have a value. For that we use user, and on change for event handling we use here change value as a event handler. Then we close this, then we use br as a closing tag. Now we just copy paste it, and in place of name I say address. Here also I say enter your address. Now here I say address, and here's the same change your value. Now I save this, and you see that we have this, and now we have to provide these values. So for that we create state variables. So we say const user, then set user, then we have use state, and here initially just we pass empty, and we specify that would be of a string type because we are using TypeScript. Now again we use constant, and we say address, then set address, then we say use state, again we pass a string, and by default is a null value, empty value. Now we have to create a event handler change value. So again just create a const value, I say change value, and then here we create arrow function. And remember that in arrow function we will use event here, and this event should have a type. So we say that is react dot change event, that would be of HTML input element like this. We specify the type of this. Now here we need to have name from the object name and value from event dot target, because this event will have a two property name and value that we want to update. Here we use switch case, if we have a name, here, and in a name case, the name is the user, first one is user, then we say set user, and we pass here value, then we say break, like this. We save this. Again I just copy this and paste it, and we have another case. If there is a address, we change an address, then we have to pass this, but we have to pass in a address, like this. Save this. You see that we have this is working. Now we have to override a function useEffect, so we use that function also. So I say useEffect, like that, and in this function we have to use arrow function, like that. And remember that for that I am creating one more state variable. I say display, I say message that we want to display. So state variable we have to create, so I say message, then set message equal to use state string type, and here we pass blank one, and here I just set the value. I say set message, and here I want to specify this. So what I do, I say here that use called useEffect, and then here I need to use value, so I say here tilde operator. So I say useEffect called, and here we use a variable of count type, and I say times. So this much of time this function is called. Now this count we want to update on every value change. So what I do, I just create one more set count and count state variable, use state, and here I pass this is number, and the initial value is 0. So this count will display here, but I need to update this count, so I will update whenever we change anything in this text box. Then we say set count is count plus 1, so that count value will increment every time whenever we do some changes. Now you see the effect of this. So I need to import this first of all in app component. So I say here that use effect basic, and we close it, save this. Now we see it is compiled. Set message, we have to use message also. So what I do, set message we did, and I need to display message also. So I display message after form, and here I say message. Save this. Now we try to see this. You see that we have this output user information. So whenever I type something here, you see use effect called 0 time, because we are not typing anything. But here if I write something, you see this function is called, use effect function is calling, and here we need to display value also. So for that we have some problem. So what I do, we have actually I should use here address, and here I should use user, name should be user. So I just save this. Now you see if I type something here, it coming here, and we have this effect also. Just I refresh once again, and you see that whenever we load any component and we have a use effect function, so automatically it execute one time. But whenever we do some change, suppose I say this, I am writing something 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times. So whenever we have some changes in our component, each and every time this use effect function called automatically. But if I want to stop it, I want this should work as a component did mount, means only one time we want to execute it. For that we can specify here a condition like this, a empty block. By this way we set this, it will execute only one time like a component did mount component in class component. So you see that again I refresh it, and if I make some changes, so it does not call, because it call only one time when the count value is 0. So but if you want to call it whenever we change the name, but we do not want to call whenever we change the address, so here conditionally we can give that it should call whenever we have a user as a change user, or we have a user, this user we were specifying here. So whenever the value of user change, then we should call this use effect function. You see that I refresh it again and I am typing something in address, you see nothing will happen because it is not depend on this, but it is depend on name. So if I do something, then you see automatically this use effect is calling. So that means we learn here that if we do not provide any condition here, if I do like this, then this use effect function call each and every time whenever we have some update in this component. But if we specify any condition here like this, empty square brackets without any conditions, then it will execute only one time like component did mount. But if I specify here any state variable or any conditional value here, so whenever this value will change, so this method will call. So this is the way to use effect. But one more way we have to use effect. For that I show you that I just create one more component here and I give the name of this component is my clock, TSX. So here I say RFCE and we create this my clock, and we do not need this because it's extra one. Similarly here also we use this. Now we use this, save this, and here I need to display a clock. For that I create a constant and I give here name of this is clock and set clock like this, and I say use state, and here I say that is of date type. Remember that date type of class we pass here, and as a refresh value I say this is the date which we are passing here. Then we have to import this use state. So for that I say import react, and then we say import use state, save this, use state like this, save this. So we have import this, we doesn't require this one, so we can remove this one also, no need of this. Now we have a clock, so I display this clock here. I say clock, display this here, you see, and this to be convert into time, so we say to local time setting, so we call this as this. Now I want to modify this value also. So what we do here, for that I called here a use effect function. You see, I call it here use effect function, and under this use effect we have arrow function also, and here what I do, I create a timer. So I say const timer equal to set interval, and this function need two argument. First is a arrow function and second one is the time. So I say 1 second, you have to refresh, and here I say set clock. That clock we just pass, every time we pass a new date, and this will refresh. And remember that here I am also calling a console variable, and here I display this clock information. This clock information, the time information I want to display similarly as I explained there. So that we done here. You see that every time it will refresh, we have a timer, and I show you the use of this. Now I just call this component also. So I import it here after the message, or we can say just before this message I display this component, and I say my clock, like this. We do this and I create just I show you that clock is running. Then I will show you one more thing. You see that this clock is running right now, and I refresh it first of all. So this clock is running, but to run this clock is not a purpose is different. So the purpose is the use of useEffect. So now I create one more button here. So I create here one button, and I say the class name of this button is btn bt and warning, like this. Then what I do, I give it remove clock. So the clock will remove after clicking on this button. So for that I need to create one more state variable, and that variable name is, we can say, show clock, and here I say set show clock, like this. Now say use state, and here we need to pass a boolean value. So I pass here true at the initial value. Now what I do, in show clock I just use it to display this component. So what I do, I say show clock, like this, and I use this, refresh, done this. Now in this button I need to click, and on click I need to call so a function. So I call it here directly by using arrow function, and here I specify that set show clock is false, like this. Save this. So we are setting the value of this clock to false whenever we click on remove button. Now you see the magic here, something is remove is coming here. So I have to call this remove is coming here. So what I do, I say margin also. So I say M4, save this, refresh it. You see, so we have here clock, this clock is running. So I should display this clock above this. So what I say, I cut this and I paste this clock above the button here, and then I done this. Now you see we have clock here. So I click on remove. You see I remove clock, but automatically clock is coming. You see I remove it, but automatically clock is coming. But this is not the way of using useEffect. This is coming because we are clicking on a button, but after clicking on a button we are not stopping the default behavior of a page. So here I need to call event again, and then we have to call here react dot mouse event like this, and here what I have to do, I have to say event dot prevent default like this. Save this, and you will see the magic here. We have this clock is working. I refresh it, and whenever I click on this, so this clock is removed, but you see that after removing it, the clock is still working and running. You see this clock is still running at the background. Again I refresh it and I show you the effect of this. I refresh it, remember that I refresh it, and you see that automatically the clock is running at the behind. This clock is running here also. If I remove it here, you see it is removed from the screen, but at the background it running. You see it running automatically. That means it's a memory leak problem, and it creating a problem in your website also, that you are removing a component but component still is not removed. So why it is not removed? You see that here we create a timer, but we did not stop this timer, and that's why this clock is coming in the console and it's showing you that this is running one by one automatically, and every second it executing. So we remove this clock component, my clock component, from this component, but still in a memory this object is available and we did not release this object. So by using use effect, how we can delete this, that is the purpose to create this clock component here. So for deleting this timer from the memory, we should use a return statement under this use effect. For that, just we come here and we use a return statement here, and in this return we have to use this arrow function. Under this arrow function we have to call clear interval, and here I need to pass timer. So you see that after this, whenever we remove the component from the memory, this timer object will be removed by the clear interval and this clock will stop working. Now you see this, I refresh it and you see the clock is working right now in this console also. Here also I click on remove button and you see it stop from the console also, and it removed from this browser also. That means now we have solved the memory leak problem that was coming because of this variable is not removed before removing the my clock component from the memory. So that is the use of use effect in React with the TypeScript. I think you understand it. If you understand clearly, please do subscribe. Thank you for watching this video.